Alright, it's time to do some Ggez showcase. I've done a few runs with her on PvP and PvE. She is very good in PvP, let me just tell you right now. And she has some places for PvE as well. I don't have any skill ups on her, I don't think it's needed. Even her cooldown reduction, I don't think it's needed, because she's gonna be spamming her S3 whenever she dies. So let me just read up her skills real quick. Her S3 is a petrification for 2 turns. Enemies damage minus 10% and damage taken plus 10% up to 50%. And then also every infliction of petrification reduces the enemy's defense by 2% up to 50%. And she does damage based off of her HP, which is not a lot, so you don't really need the skill ups for that. Her passive is what makes her super busted. Whenever teammate takes hits during special turns, she will share 70% of the damage, which means the enemy is doing 70% less damage. And then when she dies from the special turns, she will revive, gain stone steady and cast her S3. And then when she dies during active turns, she will revive once, gain the stone steady and also cast her S3. Keep in mind the first part of her passive is unlimited, so if you die multiple times during special turns, you will continuously get revived. And then her S1 is just petrification for 1 turn, does damage based off of her max HP. Stone steady is also kind of busted as well. Accuracy plus 40%, heals all allies upon taking hits. Healing is equals to 6% of her max HP, and this procs every single time she takes a hit. So if the enemy does 3 hits, she's gonna be proccing this 3 times. I've run her in Point War a few times and she's working very well. Let me just show you the team first. I'm running her with Chuyao and also with R6 Sakura. Most of you are just gonna say, is this an R6 Sakura showcase or a Ggez showcase? You'll see most of the time she's putting in a lot of work. I'm also running her with Daji as well, but at this point, you can't really run any other DPS outside of maybe Moro, Jinchu. Jinchu needs to be R6 as well, or Momo with a high resonance as well. Any other DPS at this point doesn't really cut out because they just don't do enough damage. So you need Momo to do the true damage, you need Daji to, do a lot of damage as well. You need Jinchu to do the true damage, otherwise it's really hard to kill off defender type Espers. And these are my sets. I've given her the Tyranny set HP, HP, HP. With the Growth set, she doesn't need any speed because she's going to be casting her S3 regardless when she dies. And then Momo with the Tyranny set. Better to run her on the Astral set, but I couldn't be bothered. I'm running Chuyao with the Tyranny set as well. And Sakura with Ocean set. And then lastly Lu Sheng with the Wind set. And so far the record has been very good. Even against R4 Wuyu. This one I'm just trying out the new Legendary Inferno, which doesn't really work out that well. So I lost because I was running this unit right here. She's not really providing much to the team because she does an AoE damage with her S3. Once again, I tried to run an AoE unit with Xuan Pin. It didn't really work out too well, but then I switched to Chuyao and we managed to win against an R4 Wuyu team. So Ggez does very well to counter against Wuyu's damage. The biggest issue with Wuyu before she was released was her damage, right? Because you don't really see the other parts of Wuyu because her damage just outshines everything. Once you proc her passive to 10 stacks, she's just going to one-shot your entire team no matter what, right? But since her damage is not really an issue anymore, you start to see other aspects of Wuyu that is a bigger problem. Her buff strip, her cooldown increase, her buff that she provides to all of her defender Espers that makes them immune to defense breaks, also giving them AP up whenever they get attacked, and also giving them true damage whenever you do an attack. That's one of the biggest factor. The true damage is still not being protected for your teammates by Ggez. So one way you can lose against a Wuyu comp when you run a Z is when you don't do enough damage to kill them off, because the Wuyu teams are still very resilient, right? They have a lot of defense, they can't be defense broken, they have very strong healers, one of the best healers in the game, R6 Sakura. And if R6 Sakura manages to cast her S3, then you're kind of in big trouble, as you can see right here as well. This is an R6 Wuyu team, and I ran the same team and I just ended up losing because I couldn't kill them off. You'll see right here, the enemy team is just way too tanky, even though I'm reducing their defense by 50% whenever Ggez casts her S3. Yeah, as you can see, even R6 Wuyu is not doing any damage to my team. Every time they do damage to Ggez, she's just going to heal up my team. And also R6 Daji is sort of a counter to her because of the true damage again. The true damage is what really kills off your team. Whenever you do an AoE attack, you take true damage from all of the defender Espers, which in this case is 3 of the enemies. So my Zihi, whenever she casts her S3, she's taking a ton of true damage. And yeah, the enemy Daji just ends up one-shotting her. And when she dies during an active turn, she can only revive once. And that's if she doesn't have this stone steady buff. I couldn't kill off the enemy fast enough, and I ended up just dying. Even though the Wuyu didn't really do much to me. But her buff ended up making my team die on its own. I fought against this guy 3 times. Again, I didn't win. Tried to run Momo instead of Chuyao, it didn't really work out. And then for this last team, I think I tried to run the new unit as well. It didn't really work out. She's not really that good for PvP against the Wuyu team because of her AoE attack. And then I tried to run her against a active turns team. It's not that good because once again, she's not really countering active turn units like Jinchu. Jinchu is not really about countering, right? He's more so about getting active turns, and then he just does true damage during his turn. So Zihi is not really doing anything for you at that point. So right here, she dies. She procs the first life of the active turn when she dies. But once she dies at this point, she's just going to die. Unless it's from a special turn, which is not likely to happen because all of the enemies are all active turn units. They don't really do much damage during counterattacks, but we still ended up winning because of R6 Daji and R6 Sakura at the end of the day. Zihi didn't really do much in this team because once again, it is an active turn team. She's not meant to counter this type of team. And yeah, there we go. R6 across the board except for Wuyu. And this team has a D6 as well, if I'm not mistaken. And we ended up winning because once again, she's very good against this type of teams. Momo does like no damage with her counter attacks, but Momo is a pseudo character where she does a lot of damage during her counters, and she also does a lot of damage during her active turns as well. And she gets a lot of turns, right? So against a Momo, the enemy Momo is not really doing much during her counters, but her counters acts as a turn enabler for the Momo because she gains a lot of AP. So Zihi just ends up dying because Momo takes a bunch of turns and she just chews out Zihi during her active turns and not from her counter attacks, right? But once again, we ended up winning because if the match drags on for too long, then my Daji gets a lot of stacks from Lu Sheng and she can just one-shot the enemies at this point. That's why Lu Sheng is very good in this team. You need a DPS that can do reliable damage, which in this case is going to be R6 Daji. But once again, people are going to say this is an R6 Daji and R6 Sakura showcase, which I can't really blame you for that because it is kind of like their showcase as well. But before Zihi was released, you can't really go against R4 Wuyu using these Espers right here. But because of Zihi, you can now go against this type of teams. Because the problem is, back then, without Zihi, your team just gets absolutely annihilated once you give Wuyu the stacks. So without Zihi right here, my team would just instantly be dead. My Daji would go from 9 stacks to 0 stacks within just one counter from Wuyu. It might now seem like she's doing a lot, but her damage sharing is what makes her absolutely busted. Again, this is an R4, R5 even Wuyu, and the entire team has D6, by the way, except for Yamato. Yamato is at D1 and R5, but the rest of the enemy is at R5 or R6 and D6. So a lot of stats. And we still managed to win. Alright, now it's against a full active turn team and we ended up losing. Like I said, she's very good against Wuyu, but she's not that good against active turn teams. So avoid using her against this type of teams that do damage during their turns instead of just counter attacking, because she's not really gonna do much for you. I mean, she does pretty well to cast her first S3, but then after that she's not really providing anything. She already procced the stone steady from dying from active turns, so once she dies right here, which I think she's gonna get one-shotted by, let's see here, okay, she's gonna get one-shotted by R6 JJ, and she dies because it wasn't an active, Oh, sorry, it wasn't a special turn that JJ took. It was his active turn. Here's another R2 Wuyu. I'm gonna try to find more R4 Wuyus and I'll be right back. Alright, let me just showcase one time against an active turn team using a Moroyama, and let me just tell you right now, I'm probably gonna lose because once again, she's not really doing much for you against this type of team. There we go, we lost because she's not sharing the damage that your team is taking from active turns. So the enemy Moroyama is just going to one-shot my... Yeah, there we go. Zihi just got one-shotted. And at that point, my team is just pretty much dead. Because he's just going to keep one-shotting my units every single turn he takes. Alright, we found this guy again. So he has an R4 Wuyu, D6, R6 Sakura. This time I'm going to be bringing Momo instead of Daji. But I do need to run an R6 Sakura to provide me with a little bit more sustain. Maybe let's try to remove Sakura and put in Lian. We'll see if that works or not. But it's still swapping an R6 for another R6, right? I don't think Lian is going to work because I'm going to be missing a lot of damage and also damage reduction as well. Or we won! Not bad! Okay. R6 Lian is also working. I don't think it's better than R6 Sakura. But keep in mind, R6 Sakura is also doing an AoE attack, so it's adding more stacks to Wuyu, right? After this, let me just try to remove Lian and put in a more affordable unit. One that isn't R6 reliant. Because maybe it's not really needed to run like this OP supports. Because she's already doing a bunch of the healing, right? Once she gets this stone steady buff, every single time she takes a hit, there we go, she heals up the entire team. But yeah, without R6 Sakura in the team, you can see that I'm really struggling to kill him off. Again, keep in mind, if you take too long to kill off Wuyu teams, you are still going to be in big trouble because the true damage is going to be creeping up on you. Once the healing gets reduced, you will not be able to heal through the true damage anymore, and you will just die from killing yourself by attacking the enemies. So yeah, I'm taking way too long to kill off the Sakura, but in the end we still managed to win. Keep in mind, this is an R4 Wuyu, which before she was released is almost impossible to kill unless you have Moroyama. Even with R6 Daji, it's really difficult to win because you can't really one-shot them, right? Yeah, once we kill off the enemy Sakura, it's pretty much smooth sailing because they don't have any heal anymore. But yeah, even with R6 Lian, we managed to win. Okay, this team though, I think I'm gonna get clapped on because there's a mixture of both passive damage from Wuyu and also active damage from the speed lead from Chuyao and also from Momo, right? I'm gonna get absolutely clapped on. I'm just telling you right now. But it's worth a try. Yeah, we lost. Barely did any damage because the enemy Momo is just going to absolutely annihilate my team. By her taking a bunch of turns, I can't really do anything about it because Zihi does not work well against those type of damage. Yeah, there we go. Chuyao got one-shotted. She got one-shotted as well from the Astral proc. So the next time that she dies from active turns, she's going to die straight up. Momo is getting a turn and she's going to die right here. Oh, never mind. Oh, there we go. Oh, she didn't die though, but next time she's gonna die for sure. Okay, Momo gets a turn and she dies. Active turns are gonna be her biggest counter. Can't really find any high resonance Wuyu, so we'll just go up against this team. I'm gonna be removing Sakura. I'm gonna keep the Momo. You might not have as high of a resonance as me for your Momo, but my Momo is only at D1 and there's not that many other reliable DPS. If I run any other DPS, I'm absolutely trolling because they can't kill off Wuyu teams that easily. You need either like R6 Jinchu, like I mentioned. You know what? Let me try to remove her. Put in Ana because of her defense in Nori. Alright, let me just put in Ana. If you don't have Ana, then tough luck, I guess. There's no other DPS that is really viable in the meta right now. You have R6 Daji, you have Momo, you have R6 Jinchu, and then other DPS just can't really do well. As for the support, I'm gonna try to run... Let me see... Let me just run Sachiko. We'll see how this goes. Sachiko on the Ocean set, HP and speed. Against this team, I can't really do anything against the Daji, but with immunity, maybe I might win. Nah, Ana is a little bit too much, I think. Yeah, even Ana at this point can't really do well in the meta because she doesn't do enough damage. Even when I'm running Lu Sheng in the team to provide her with a lot more damage, it just doesn't do enough damage. Yeah, my team just instantly dies. And also with the support as well. Not running either R6 Sakura or R6 Lien, you just don't have enough sustain in the team. Even though Zihi is providing you with a lot of healing, you do need healing before she gets this Stone Steady buff. Alright, let me just try to put in Momo back. I'm still gonna try to run Sachiko. Maybe she could work. Nah, 200,000 on Momo though, not bad. I don't think against this team I'm gonna do well, especially because he has this buff as well. And R6 Daji also sort of counters Zihi pretty well from the true damage as well. Because every time you get countered by Wuyu, you are also taking true damage that isn't shared. Yeah, Lien is not working. Let me try R6 Sakura. R6 Sakura also doesn't work. Because once again, it is an R6. Because once again, there is an R6 Daji. If I want to go up against this team, I would have to bring my own Daji to deal with his Daji so that he doesn't counter attack me with his S3. I still might lose though. Yeah, I still lose. Again, R6 Daji is a pretty big counter to her. But yeah, that's about it for the Point War Showcase. Next showcase, I'm going to show you on PvE. And I did score a pretty crazy 110 million with this Team 3 right here. The Beatbox Showcase is going to come a little bit later because I'm still testing her out there. But yeah, this is the team that I've went with on Team 3. It's running the same Elif on the same set, Feng Shun on the same set, Yu Jing on the same set, Lu Sheng on the same set, and then now I've included Zihi in the team with Astral set and counter, HP, attack and speed. This piece can be really anything, she just needs to have not the lowest HP in the team. And I did score 100 million with this team. It's around 110 million, but she is not the best for this team. Mateo is much better for this Team 3 right here, and I don't think she's gonna work that well against other bosses. I'll still try it out, but the reason why she's pretty decent for Sonica is because Sonica resets your cooldown whenever she enters the stance mode, right? And the way that she works is that whenever she casts her S3, she increases the enemy's damage taken by 10% up to 50%. So she needs to cast her S3 multiple times. Otherwise, it's useless to run her. Which is why I don't think she's gonna work that well against other bosses, because she's not gonna be spamming her S3 that much. That's about it. Is she a must summon? For now, I can't really say for certain for now. She is a very good counter to Wuyu, one of the best counters to Wuyu, but you still do need to have a reliable DPS like High Resonance Momo, a Moroyama with at least R2 and R6 Daji and R6 Jinshu. If you don't have these DPS, you are still not going to do well against a Wuyu team. She's not a 100% counter to Wuyu. She is still the support. Some people don't realize this. No matter how good of a support you are, if you don't have enough DPS, you are still not going to do anything to the enemy team, right? The enemy team will just out-sustain you, and even though you're countering them, but you can't kill them, it's pointless at the end of the day. So you need strong DPS to finish them off. But yeah, at this point, I'd say hold your Shimmer records until I've done a few more showcase on her, and definitely 100% do not summon for Wuyu, because Wuyu is still in the meta, but she's getting really hard countered by this new Shimmer. Even R4 and even R6 Wuyu is kind of struggling with an R0 Zihi. That's about it, ciao.